A top WWE star is returning next week. Some more WWE talent are lucky enough to have gotten new names. And we've got an update on the return of Montel Vontavious Porter. Stay tuned. So it has been announced that a top WWE star is returning on next week's SmackDown. You think you know him? We have fun, don't we? Edge is back on the show next week. Very, very exciting. This comes a lot sooner than anticipated. According to reports, he was going to be out for months. He was written off a few weeks ago. Now he's back next week, the week after, the show after Extreme Rules, which makes you think that they're building to a rematch, Seth Rollins versus Edge for Survivor Series, which I'm well up for because the first time round was lovely. Yeah. So what happened last night on SmackDown, Luke?
So Seth is desperate for Edge to pretty much call him not an Edge light. Yeah,
so he's fed up with the comparisons to Edge, saying that they're not fair. They're not fair to Edge. Seth Rollins is very good in his own right, just not as over as Edge ever.
And he's pretty much said if he doesn't acknowledge him, he's gonna go to Edge's house and force it out of him unless he turns up on SmackDown.
Okay, so he said that earlier in the show, and then later it was revealed by the announce team that Edge had sent out a tweet saying, "All right, I'm up for it. I'll see you next week. See you next Friday, Rollins." So we are going to see Edge next week, and Edge has got unfinished business, that's for sure. Rollins was very, very nasty to him, and so I'm buzzing about this because that was my favourite match on the pay-per-view, Edge and Rollins. I thought it was excellent. And I'm just glad that they're doing it again, even with like the brand split coming up and all that sort of, not the brand split, the draft coming up. It worried me a little bit when that was announced that, they might get drafted to separate brands. I guess, though, Edge doesn't really have a brand, does it? I know he is a SmackDown superstar.
Yeah, I feel Edge can sort of just come and go wherever he wants.
Moving on, we've got some new names for WWE talent. There's a real mix here. So these are new signees for the most part, and it comes from a variety of sources, but I think PW Insider compiled this list, but it comes mostly from WWE talent changing their social media names to reflect their new trademarked or soon to be trademarked WWE names. So Joseph Fatu is now, I think, Sefa Fatu, right? Sefa, S-E-F-A, Fatu. Jennifer Iglesias is now Yulisa Leon. Jessica Woynilko is now Tiffany Stratton. Which, if you check my search history, you would know it's a very porny name, isn't it? It's quite a Tiffany Stratton. Sanjana George is now, that's a weird one, Vish Kenya. So I guess expect to see Sefa, Yulisa, Tiffany and Vish pop up pretty damn soon on NXT because they're introducing like 50 new wrestlers every single week. But good luck to them all. Good luck to them all. A real mixed bag there, to say the least. Up next, we've got a return update on MVP. On Thursday, MVP posting an update from his hospital bed, revealing that he's undergoing knee surgery. Despite some of the reports saying that it already happened, he's undergoing knee surgery. He's hopeful to be back in 4 to 6 weeks. What did he say?
So MVP has said there were some reports going around that I had successful knee surgery. Those reports were wrong, erroneous, mistaken as usual. I'm having knee surgery today.
So now he's at it.
Yeah. As some of you might know, a couple of weeks ago I took a vicious RKO from Randy Orton on the floor. One I certainly didn't deserve. As a result, I suffered a rib injury. Winky face.
I love that. He's so good, isn't he? His rib injury is in quotes as well.
I figured while I recover from this rib injury, I would get my knee fixed, the one that has me hobbled since February, when I tore my meniscus, and then 2 weeks later tore a second meniscus. Since then, I've been hobbling. People thought the cane was cool and dope, but it was necessary. The injury has been real. I'm excited to finally get it fixed so I can get back in the ring and actually wrestle and not be hobbled. I appreciate the well wishes and positive energy. We're going to get through this simply
Oh, he was so close. Arthroscopic, I think it is.
Surgery. And hopefully I'll be back on Monday Night Raw in 4 to 6 weeks, he said. So are you excited for an MVP ring return?
Just getting word in my ear, by the way, that MVP has been renamed to Arthroscopic.
Arthroscopic.
Yeah, Arthroscopic will be debuting on Raw in 4 to 6 weeks. I'm really excited. I love MVP. I've loved everything since his return. I think he just plays his role to perfection. I want to see him come back with a Hurt Business. He teased it on social media a few weeks ago, and then obviously he had to go and get the surgery. But that's what I want to see happen. I think they would just they could have gone down if they had been allowed to just go with it and continue. They could have gone down as one of the best WWE stables ever. I genuinely believe that, because I think they're a group of really, really talented wrestlers, and with MVP as a mouthpiece, they could have just gone on to do great stuff, and I was really disappointed when they broke up. So I'd like to see MVP's involvement be with the Hurt Business again. I think it's unlikely. I think he just teased it on social media because he can do what he wants, but we'll see. But sending him our best, and can't wait to see MVP back on TV. Next up, we've got the reason that Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega opened on AEW Dynamite Grand Slam. Now, this, for some reason, because wrestling fans, and we all do it, we all whinge about everything. I saw so many people on my Twitter feed complaining that this was opening the show and not main eventing, whinging about one of the best TV matches ever, certainly in recent memory. No, ever. It was awesome. It was so good. And they would complain. Just watch the match and enjoy it. Just have a night off, all right?
People were whinging before the match, and then people were whinging after the match, and it's you can't win. It's a free match on TV, and it's probably one of the best of the year.
Right? I don't understand. Anyway, the match was put on first. It was by design, as they can go longer earlier in the show without a commercial break. This is from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, by the way. The match was the night's priority, and get it out there early. It's great, in fact, that they put it on early, because it wasn't so interrupted by commercial breaks, and that's a nice thing. We got to enjoy more wrestling without interruption. Just give it a break for once in your lives. By the way, Bryan Danielson's first 5-star match. If you care about star ratings, big Davey M giving it a 5-star. You'd think he'd have had one by now, but there you go. And it was a TV match, which is pretty unusual and pretty ruddy awesome. We are finishing with an update on the possible return of WWE's wildcard rule. Following the match, the New Day versus the Bloodline on Raw, it was reported that this might not be a one-off. The top Raw stars might head over to SmackDown, top SmackDown stars might head over to Raw to boost the ratings for both shows. But it appears that might not be the case. Meltzer writing regarding talk that the top stars may appear on both brands. This is not a long-term strategy, not even a short-term one. Of course, all can change on a moment's notice, but as of this week, this wasn't something that they were planning on regularly doing. But of course, if ratings decline, every option like this is possible. Although watching Raw, the way they put over Reigns so strongly, they had better bring him back. He's back on October the 4th for the second night of the draft. So this has been locally advertised. We don't actually know if this is going to be on the telly or not. But Reigns, Jimmy, Jay advertised in a 6-man tag team match taking on top stars RK Bro and Drew McIntyre, which will be absolutely excellent. But we don't know if they're actually going to put that on the show or not. That might just be a dark main event for the crowd. But it does mean that Reigns, Jimmy and Jay are going to be there. That's the second night of the draft, by the way. Rumours already circulating, and there's already been an announced match that Drew McIntyre is going to be over on the first night of the draft on SmackDown the Friday before. He's very, very strongly suggested that he'll be going over to the blue brand. But we will see. We don't know if that's going to be on the TV or not, as I say. But do you reckon it will be?
Yeah, I reckon it will be. It's too big of a match just to put on a house show, or on a dark match.
Well, yeah, the fact that Roman, Jimmy and Jay are there, they'll be doing something. So yeah, maybe it will.
It does make me wonder if they're going to swap not just champions on the draft, but factions. Is the New Day going to SmackDown? Is the Bloodline coming to Raw?
You reckon they might want Reigns on Raw?
The A show. So.
It's not anymore, though, is it? It's not, and they make more money from Fox as well. I don't know. I love Reigns being on SmackDown. He's a highlight for me. I want him to stay on SmackDown personally. We'll see. Don't get me wrong. I'd be happy with Big E as well, but nah, Big E's on Raw now. Let him just don't break the New Day up either. Just leave them together having some fun as well. That's us. I've been Adam.
I've been Luke.
And we will be back with some more wrestling news very, very shortly. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.